Okay.
All right, we are back. So Roger and I had a interesting conversation just before we came on here a few seconds ago. And we want to talk about evolution and for myself, I am in a place where I figure out lots of habits, behaviors, ways of living, acting in this world. And adjusting in a way that it feels comfortable and true to who I am. So, um, Roger, can you talk a little bit about that?
Okay. Well, we talked last time we talked to that. Well, what you just said was interesting because the last conversation we had was about authenticity, right? And so you're saying you're feeling somewhat different now, or you felt some things or something was came up. Is that what happened?
Generally, in an accelerated way, um, I start growing a lot whilst I'm taking a step back and take care of myself and my
Mhm,
well-being, like organizing my thoughts, my sitting with my feeling and just taking care of myself more than
mhm.
I did before. And I think this is a process of me becoming my most authentic self
Mhm.
in a way that I go out with a smile on my face, or at least with a smile on my heart, even if my lips aren't smiling, but I feel well and happy and loved.
And how did you get there?
I don't try to get anywhere actually, and
Mhm,
this is a feeling that came up in several moments and situations, even when I've done some plant medicine or in dreams as a child when I had the feeling that it's just I'm on I'm in a never-ending story and it feels just like endless and it's stretched out and I have the feeling that it's ending or that I'm trying to get to the end but it's never ending. So what it kind of teaches me in this moment is that I ain't have to go anywhere.
mhm.
I learned to really slow down and be so present with myself and who I am. Grateful for what I have and the vision that I have for myself in my life, that I attract better things in my life, greater conversations, um, more authentic conversations, which is like the fundamental, like of for what I live. I do love to have like deep and authentic conversations about things that really matter to you, like less just like things that we created, but like true words of wisdom, like things that are somehow beyond, like words that touch. And yeah, it's time to speak with soul and heart and to express ourselves. Yeah.
Yes, and that is evolution. That is what happens because the evolution that we're supposed to meant to experience is within ourselves. When we can come to that place is like well, last time when we were talking about authenticity, and like we have to wonder, well, why don't we feel that way all the time? What is that? What's that process? And you just said it in a different way because you said it's like it's ongoing because we're never, as long as we're alive, there's more. And so we're always moving. That's our individual evolution, but the world's doing that too.
We're gaining new information and new perspective through experience. And because of that, like new doors open, we can see new ways for ourselves because of the knowing that we have now and the understanding of how things work,
Mhm.
what works for us, what not. Like it's really looking and adjusting all day long, all the time. That like you don't need the same type of food now than in 2 months
Mhm.
or half a year to make it a little easier. Like your body just doesn't need different things in different times of the year, depending on the season that you're in. And like learning to live accordingly to your most natural way of living,
Mhm.
right? Like the way that you live in the most harmonious way that you can live. Like how can you do this, Roger? Like how can someone do this?
When that's the interesting part is because, and wow, I was just thinking about this earlier today because there's no reason that we shouldn't be able to do that, right? Except we've been taught something else. And so when we're talking about that place of evolving, it's always coming into more ownership of who we are as a soul, let's say, as an individual, because it has nothing to do with anything outside of us or families or anything. But that's the place where, as we evolve, sometimes can be difficult because we're comparing ourselves to everyone else too. And so for you, that's why I said, how did you get there? Because you were expressing something that was this wonderful place that most people would want to arrive to, where they're just like, oh, I'm taking care of myself. I'm loving things more. I'm experiencing things. And so talk a little bit more. I mean, just think about that. How do you think that you could even express those words, even for however long you felt them? What brought you to that place?
Mm. Willingness to get to know myself
Mm,
and the desire to do so and to reach my full potential and to kind of live the life that I deserve to live, which is the best life. And I started seeing how I attracted certain things in my life
mhm.
depending on what I believe to be true or what stories I told myself. And I observed how those things, those people I attracted changed
Mhm.
when I changed my belief and when I changed what I identified with. It was a process. It was nothing that happened from one day to the other, but it's still happening. It's it's not like it's evolving itself. Like this entire process is evolving and like you always reach new highs and like then you reach the next highs and like but like it's not that your lows stay the same as well. Like you kind of take you have higher lows and higher highs and
Mhm.
kind of you go in each step you go through a destruction phase, a rebirth phase. It like something old must die in order for something new to come. Like you have to give something up in order to get something. You have to give in order to receive.
What would you say to someone now who might find themselves in this place where they don't know where to go? They don't know how to get there. They don't know what is coming up for them, or they're confused, or what would you say that would be the best thing for them to do to try to reach that place where they could say, I'm taking care of myself more now? What happens?
Learn to meditate and create your day in a way that you have joy and laughter.
Hmm.
Like to have fun and be joyous
Hmm.
and to play is important.
And so someone's going to listen to that and they're going to be in this place of complete chaos in their lives or whatever
Mm.
they might experiencing. So what would
Have
be
a cold shower.
okay? All right.
Have a cold shower and do some breath work. Maybe do the breath work before the cold shower.
Mm.
And then do some Wim Hof breath work, just the easiest that I can give you right now. Do some rounds of, or look for any type of breath work online, and sure you will find the right one for you in this moment. And do some breath work and then have a cold shower.
Why is that? Why does that help and why is it important?
It resets your entire nervous system and it gives you a reset, right? Like, as an example, breath work. If you do a certain type of breath, like you go into a state where you release the air, or like you're in a state where you're not breathing and your entire body thinks like what the heck is going on. So it switches instantly to kind of survive and it starts taking the oxygen out of your blood,
Mm.
which you charged up and it might tingles in your skin. You may feel some heat, like some blockages that heals or anything like that, or maybe none of it, and you just have to do it a second, third time to feel something.
Right.
But it brings you into a place of peace and tranquility. So you're like smooth. And then you're not like no fears go away, thoughts disappear, right? Like all the good stuff.
I
Yeah.
I found I was looking at this yesterday. If there was a message I received a while ago, and it was saying it was about breathing, and it was saying
Mm,
something like that. It says that you think you're breathing all the time, but you're not, because a lot of times we're just not breathing because we're holding our breath, because we're afraid or there's something else that's going on. And they said, and this one message said, when you consciously breathe, you're doing all kinds of other things, as you were saying. You're changing your nervous system. You're allowing the stress to go away. You're coming back into the present moment because usually we're running from the present moment. We're running from something. And that is, we can see very clearly a lot of times that leads to illnesses or diseases, and that when we are
mm.
continually doing that, we've come to understand that. And um, so someone who is in this place now, let's just say that they are um, in this really anxious place, would what kind of breath work would be the best for them? Let's just start with that.
Like do at least 3 minutes, as easy as that, at least 3 minutes, and exhale longer than you inhale.
Okay, explain that because I understand if I
So you
explain that.
inhale for 4 and you exhale for 6. Or you inhale for 6 and you exhale for 7. You inhale for 5 and you exhale for 7.
Yeah,
So
let me.
you always exhale longer. So like what happens is you automatically calm down and
That's
it like has a lasting effect on you for hours. So 3 minutes of that, you have like at least 6 hours or like up to 6 hours, a calmer, more stressless state. Yeah. Very easy, like 3 minutes it takes you. And generally, like when you're at work, like I started counting my breath. I just counted to seven, to eight, to nine, in and out, like seven in, seven out, like for a while. I just practiced breathing because I felt that I couldn't breathe. I actually couldn't breathe. It was stuck in my chest. I felt tight. It was stuck. It felt like yuck.
mm,
Um, it's not great to bring myself back there actually either. So,
You, but you
you
just
know, like
explained,
you learn to breathe deeply into the belly and like heal remarkably.
but you're giving
Yeah.
people something else now because there's a thing that we've all known. Doctors probably, I mean, people have always said this, count to 10. And you think about why do people, I mean, it's been around forever. Why do we do that? It's again to give us that moment of what you're just explaining of calming down so that we're not reacting in that instant at right away or reacting in a way that is could be an old response. So now we're changing something, and you were saying talking about it changes things internally, but what it's really changing is your brain, is how you're reacting. And all of our
Mm.
reactions sometimes, I mean, not all, but many of them are um, patterns of programming that we're responding to. So that time of that break is brilliant. But I love the fact that you started with saying um, how it changes you in this different way, and that's what I think people could really use so much of that during this time.
It gives you it gives you more of yourself. Like it's you walking in your power, you living your truth, and you claiming your birthright. And like when you stand right and you just like feel yourself or in a conversation with anyone and you're just so sure about yourself
Mm,
that nothing externally can shake you, can make you feel a certain way. No words of someone else can make you feel a certain way. Um, this is powerful, and you have the potential to shine through everything that is not serving you, and like be there for others because you're such a radiant being, right? Like when you elevate with you elevate your frequency, you start vibrating higher, you're able to lift up so many other people. You're able to contribute and to be in service and to do great things for humanity, for your family, for your husband, for your kids, for your brother, your sister, your friend.
why do we
So, yeah,
why do we lose that state? Why do we lose that place, that state of being?
great,
Sorry?
great.
Oh, okay. Explain that.
People are greedy. They are always chasing for the next thing in the material.
Hmm.
And the things in the material, they will disappear one day. No matter what it is that you look at right now, it'll be gone. So many people spend their time with things that are gone one day.
Hmm.
But like the spiritual nature of things, of all that we are, of existence itself, like we are all one and we are all connected, right? So like in the spiritual realm, like when we focus on the feeling that feels like home,
Hmm.
right? The place where we all came from, what we all remember, what we carry within us, and which is all around us too. We are living like holiday every day. You find a spot, you find a way to tune into that frequency where you fully realize who you are in all of this right now, because you just sense it as a knowingness within you that you don't have to explain to anyone else than to yourself. Like you just have to have the knowing yourself within your heart. And no one to prove, nothing to prove, no one to impress, right? Like just like be playful, allow yourself to be loved and love others.
Okay, so now you're in Germany.
Hmm.
I don't know how peaceful it is there, but maybe it is. But okay, let's just say I'm here in we've been
Everywhere, everywhere I was in the last years has been very peaceful. I
that's
must.
okay. So I want you to give because I'm in the US and so we've had things going on that we haven't felt very peaceful. And so people might be experiencing that. So would this, what you're giving us today, that would help them kind of move through this period a little bit easier to
Sure
get back in
thing. Like
touch with themselves?
if they just do it, and you just have to do it. You just have to take action. You just have to learn to breathe, learn to meditate. And like a meditation can be anything, but if you're in the moment and you learn to deal with everything that is, and you conquer every challenge and you see a challenge as a stepping stone, like to your success, right? And you just climb the ladder, like you are really moving forward, but you have to do it. And you have to listen to more of those of people who talk about those things, consume content, read books, listen to podcasts. I rarely read books. I like to listen and to watch things.
Mhm.
Um, so it's just my way of learning, but like find a way that suits you, find modalities that suit you, Reiki, breathwork, like yoga, Kundalini yoga, like God knows, right? Like how many different varieties of breathwork are out there, Qigong, Tai Chi. Like there's so much good stuff there. Like you just have to grab something and try it out. And if it's not that, maybe you go to a course and the course isn't something for you, but you meet someone that has a great opportunity for you that is just even greater that you could have imagined. Like things happen in magical ways, and like I'm open for that, and it's I see how more and more magic just appears.
And everything that you have spoken of is the process of us changing our brains, changing our thinking, changing our way of being. And that's where we start. That's where we begin, is by
It's
getting
a true
control.
thing. Like it took me like I started writing down my thoughts 3 years ago.
Mm,
And like I reached a point in 3 years that I'm so grateful for because I always catch myself when I'm in a negative state. It's not that I'm getting myself out there right away, but I'm aware of it. And
mhm.
I can like navigate my thoughts and learn to deal with negativity in a new way, learn to transform it and to use it like as really something very valuable
Mhm.
in the present moment of time, right? Because without this learning, like grow, I wouldn't evolve. And like if I'm not evolving, if I'm not growing, like what am I doing?
Oh, your mic did something.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Like if I'm not growing, if I'm not evolving, what am I doing? So very easy, just take action. Like you have like an entire library on YouTube. Like dive into something that motivates you, that inspires you, some topic, like whatever it is. Might not even be something spiritual. Like
mm.
just go for something that you love and allow yourself to enjoy it.
That's I remember listening to a podcast a long time ago. I don't know who it was, but I'm just listening to it, and all of a sudden she said something very loudly. I mean, louder than the rest of it. And she says,
Mm.
"Your purpose is happiness." I go, "Oh, really?" That was saying that that's what we're meant to experience and feel, but um, you're describing ways of kind of getting there. But a lot of times we don't give ourselves permission to have that happiness a lot of times. So.
Because like we feel guilty
Mhm.
when we shine brighter than others, but and there's something that is with me, like the first time this thought was in my awareness. So I haven't had that before, so it's my first time talking about this.
Mhm.
Um, you know, like if you have that connection and you grow up with that love inside of you, that that is you and that you know to be true, like more than anything else, and you grow up judging yourself for that. Um, it's insane because like you grow up hiding yourself, you grow up hiding your light, and just because others aren't shining as bright as you do, like doesn't mean that you have to dim your light because like as long as you shine your brightest light that they can see it,
Mm,
and like as long as a light shines brighter than the others will desire to shine as bright. So and as bright again because once they were as bright or brighter. So
mm.
yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be helpful for a lot of people because we're moving through, as I've talked about quite often, really dynamic change in our work on our globe, on our planet. And everyone's felt it no matter where you live. But when we can understand that the best thing we can do is to get in touch with our peace, our calm, our and doing all of those things. And so, yeah, that
Your piece, and then you find out what your piece is that you contribute to this earth. Like you're all contributing to some with something, right? Whatever that is.
mm,
If it's with having a family and raising kids, like it might be that, right? It might be just that.
mm,
And do what you love. Just do it for yourself and see how all others are served through that. Through you or by you taking care of yourself, fueling yourself with love and all the good things that you need, whatever that is. Y- y- All the people in your surrounding are,
yeah,
yeah, just
we've
gratefully watching you.
Yeah. And that's probably the key is like do what you love. But that's probably the
Yeah.
thing that most people have found somewhat difficult because of that programming, everything else. So this is
I like distractions,
yeah.
massive distractions.
Mm,
Like my era, like Roger, what we have accessible,
mm,
like we grew up with technology, like we are all over the place, man.
mm,
Like we are all over the place. We have so many opportunities with jobs, with like, where do we start?
mm,
Where do we start, right? Like to get an overview about all of that without knowing who you are is good luck. Is a hell of a ride. It's a fucking hell of a ride if you don't know what you do, like if you don't know who you are and you just start diving into the system
mm.
that um is falling apart, changing, is exchanged by a new one. Or like we're just melting into each other and like just like yeah,
Ah,
something like that.
how good. Well, this will be helpful for
Hmm.
people because that's we're all
I
moving
believe
into
so too, and it's like as simple as like do what you love and love what you do.
yeah. But that's the
And
journey.
if you
It's
don't love
stepping
it, like if you don't love what you do it with love
yeah.
and see how things change.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true. That
awesome.
because that's talking about intent and attitude, which is always
Hmm.
important. Perfect.
And like,
Good.
yeah, we have to pay attention to those things.
Great.
Many people aren't aware that they're of their intentions. And this is an entire, whoa. Yeah, this is the what people cause just
Yes.
because they're not aware of what they're actually intending to do, which is often harm.
So
Mm.
we're going to leave everybody with you can do everything. You can be the person
You
you
can
want
do
to become.
anything, you can destroy or create.
Yeah.
You can choose what you destroy and what you create.
Perfect.
So,
Alrighty, sir. Thank you. This is great. They will, people will get
peace.
a lot of value out of this one.
I believe so.
Thank you. All right. We'll see you
Awesome.
guys next time.
See you soon.